மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. If you take a look at the current position, it should look very familiar because we've seen this exact position already a few times in this course. Now here we've seen already two moves from white, bishop b5 and bishop d3. In this case, white will play bishop d3. And this exercise is a great example of how dangerous the opening of the h-file can be if black ever takes on g3. And the move that black plays here, bishop takes g3, just not a good move, because after h takes g3, the tactics that are created on the h-file, as we'll see, are pretty devastating for black. So here it just takes one more mistake for black to essentially lose the game. After the very natural b6 is played, perhaps aiming to develop the bishop, white has a pretty devastating blow. And before I show the best move, I want to show the second best move, because I feel like a lot of players may perhaps guess the wrong move here. G4 is looking like a very strong move, threatening g5 with the idea to eventually win h7, but it's not the strongest move because black has a very simple defense g6. And while this is still a good position for white, it's not immediately winning. So going back, strongest move for white is not g4, but the even more direct and the more forcing knight e5. And when knight e5 is played, there's actually two threats. The obvious threat is taking on c6, and perhaps the less obvious threat is taking on h7, followed by queen h5. And really goes to show the power of knight e5, opening up the queen. And usually when the h-file is open like this, you want your queen to play some role in coming to h5. So in this case, the problem exists for black, where if knight take e5, white can simply just take back and attack the knight, which is a key piece defending h7. This is ending very bad for black. I might as well show a nice checkmating line here. If black were to play knight d7, white has forced mate in a pretty elegant manner. After bishop take h7, king h8, it is now just game over after bishop g6, king g8, and then rook h8, sacrificing the rook, king take, and then queen h7 mate. So very common line with, especially with this open h-file, the bishop, the rook, and the queen working together. So going back to this position, after knight e5, black doesn't have too many other options. If a move like bishop b7 is played, we can see that bishop take h7 is just simply devastating. Knight take h7, and then queen h5. And if I'm not mistaken, white is just mating by force, given that queen take h7 is coming, and of course if knight f6, white can easily play queen h8 mate. So knight e5 is just completely overwhelming, and it's the type of move, if you find, it's pretty much game over. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope this demonstrates how the open h-file or the half-open h-file can be such a strong attacking tool for white. And this is why that sometimes you should delay castling, especially earlier on. In this case, black didn't even give white time to castle, but even if a line like b6 occurs immediately, sometimes it's useful to avoid castling, play a move like queen e2. Just if the h-file opens, you would want your rook on h1. One last thing I'll say is that the position which was reached could come from a few different transpositions. Going back earlier in the game, if after bishop g3, if at any point black captures on g3, then of course you want your rook on h1. And then it's very common just to never end up castling and still go for the setup where your king either stays in the center or castles queenside, or even someday you might play king f1 to be on a slightly safer square. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and this is something that you'll see very often in London. So if you play the London for some extended period of time, someday you'll have this half-open h-file, and you'll want to be aware of the tactics that you can use to win the game. So I will see you guys in the next lesson.
மறக்காம சர்ப்ரைஸ் பண்ணுங்க. தேங்க்யூ.